Yesterday we all go out to lunch. I can't go out to lunch with you guys because everybody has more energy at the lunch table than you guys will give me on the air. At the lunch table, I just sit back while you guys argue in between yourselves. And then yesterday, right when we think the lunch is over, we've got to get Eastside Dave this big, stupid ice cream. He had a sundae made for himself.
And the thing was just gigantic. Just layers of ice cream and whipped cream and chocolate sauce.
And then Earl's like the aunt who wants to try to figure out exactly what his cost. It's like Earl doesn't like the idea of dividing it up 4 ways. And I don't blame him because he normally has less food than everyone else. Or he doesn't like to go top of the line with his food.
Yeah, Earl will always wait till last to chip in.
Yeah.
For the one, we get one tab. Everyone else throws in their money, thinking, all right, we'll figure this out.
Right.
Earl waits till last to chip in.
And Earl also still doesn't understand what is a good tip and bad tip, because he's always got the gimmick of, is that good? Is that enough? He always wants to check back with us.
Yeah, the tips, too, for where we go,
yeah,
they're just getting out of hand. They're way too big.
Our tips are starting to look like a poker pot. It just really is getting big, and now when we show up at this place, everybody's so damn glad to see us. All the servers will jump over tables to try to pull us to their place.
Exactly. When it's, I'm fine with leaving a good tip, a nice tip.
Mm-hmm.
Good service. I appreciate it. I reward. But these tips are getting ridiculous, where it's like, now this woman's going to expect, 50% tip, 60% tip every time we go in there, and we got to nip it.
A lot of times you're not just serving us, but we're taking up that table because we sit and hang out. We got nowhere to go. We have no lives. So I feel like we owe almost like a table rental there, too. That's all part of it.
I know, but I feel like we're so over-tipping, it's embarrassing that way.
You've got to make up, the way I say it, you've got to make up for the under-tippers of the world.
Yeah, but I mean, they put that 18% there on the receipt for a reason.
That's even embarrassing that they have to put that. That goes to show people don't understand. I hate to say it because a lot of tourists come to New York. I hate to bring up the name Canadians, but when I had my club in Florida, the waitresses always used to go over to the maitre d' and they go like this, make sure I don't get any fucking Canadians. They would give him money if he would take the Canadians to the new girl's place. You used to work as a server, right, Dave?
Yeah, I was a waiter. I was a waiter for like 8 years or so, from 16 to 24.
Is it true what they say about Canadians?
I got a couple of people from Toronto, and they weren't so great. They weren't so hot.
I guess they don't understand. They tip differently in Canada, right?
It's absolutely true about the Canadians. When I was a kid, my dad waited tables on St. Pete Beach, all the tourists there.
Mm-hmm.
When he would get he would know from the tip if a party was from Canada. And would actually...
The money would be red?
It would be so low. It would be such a small tip. And he would actually go to them and say, what part of Canada are you from?
And that was like his little joke?
That was part of his joke. And then they would say, oh, we're from Toronto. Or, and it's like, he goes, yeah, I realized it from the accent.
866-RUN-0-FEZ, 866-RUN-0-FEZ. Why didn't you just slap the Queen money right back in their forehead? Might have been the only way to deal.
See, but isn't their money much different than ours? And they might think that they're tipping us a lot, because they have, like...
Yeah, but it's not always that way. It is now, but it wasn't always that way. For you as a server, how do you know you're going to get a bad tip? What do you look for?
If I'm extremely congenial and there's not a lot of talk back, if there's no eye contact, that's a big thing.
But is there like old people or worse or...
Yes, old people are definitely worse without question.
If you had to look into it, like in a stereotype type way, what would be the worst tip that you can imagine?
I hate to say it, but the African American or blacks.
Well, either one.
Okay, they're the worst.
All right, Earl, would you cement to this?
I'm not really sure. I don't think we're cheap. I don't think we don't tip at all. I think I over tip.
I was told this by Fez one day when we were leaving, and I didn't see it happen, but he told me that you walked back and lightened up the pile a little bit, that you went back and grabbed a couple ones for yourself.
Yep. No, I mean...
Don't do that.
He always done it.
I went back and got change.
He's doing a new thing. It's Fez's last man out. If you've noticed lately... I sit up and I walk out, and Fez stays at the table almost with a shotgun to keep you from coming back and lightening the load.
Earl also always over dips in those mints, those complimentary mints. He's got about 7 or 8 of them. They put in his pocket.
Take 2.
No.
Okay, 2.
I enjoy mint, and that's why they're there. But make sure you use that little thing to pick them up with, not your fingers. Freaks people out when they see you just reaching in there with your hand. Here's Dimitri. You're on Run and Fez.
Yeah, I work in a hotel, actually, in the Midtown area there.
Yeah.
And every time I get a Canadian that, shows up, sometimes we run out, let's say, out of a standard room, and I upgrade them to a suite, they don't even say thank you. It's not like I'm expecting a tip or anything.
Right.
But even the bellman, I take them up to the rooms, they don't even throw the guy, maybe say $5. They just got an upgrade for no extra charge, and they can't even take care of the guy who's going to bring up their luggage.
All right, Dimitri, you think this is the case that they don't understand that tipping is a big thing here in the U.S.?
It kind of is.
Maybe Canada's different.
I think it's a cheap thing because the people that do book to stay in my place, they do it over the internet where they, usually if it's a Canadian,
cheap tickets.
They book through a cheap.com website. It's never been directly with a hotel where they pay the rack rate or the higher rate of the room.
All right, thanks, Dimitri. That's an interesting thing. There's a lot of people travel now that are traveling on a budget that wouldn't be traveling in the old days.
Now I think about it, when I was in Ireland, they said don't tip. In fact, tipping, especially at a bar, is an insult. I mean, maybe John from Belfast could corroborate, but they
corroborate.
Clobber?
I've heard that before, that over there that they don't tip bartenders. So I don't understand how they live. How do you live without tipping? Here's Carrie. Carrie, you're on Run and Fez.
Hi, I used to waitress and bartend, and we used to refer to black couples as Canadians.
You would say, oh, damn, I got a couple Canadians up here, because that's the way they tip, huh?
Absolutely.
All right, Earl, you might be very happy traveling around Europe, staying in hostels and not tipping.
Or moving to Canada.
Sure, you would love Canada.
It's too cold.
You're not tipping, and yet you still keep your wallet on a chain. I think he's got that tip on a chain, so he drops it in front of us and yanks it back as we're all leaving.
Attaching a one to a piece of fishing line on us.
Here's John. John, you're on Fez.
What's up, Ron? What's up, Fez?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I agree with the last caller. We used to refer to Canadians if we were talking about black people that came in. And
I never knew this.
That's awesome.
I
want to use it all the time now.
I can't believe. I mean, that was like the term. Whenever somebody came back to the kitchen and said, "I got a bunch of fucking Canadians," he was going home broke.
I know, that's awful.
And nothing against Earl. I got the most respect for Earl.
Hey, Earl's from Montreal, born and raised. He loves it up there. But Earl, had you ever heard this before? You tip like a Canadian?
No, I never. This is an education for me.
You can nook.
I like to tip like Jimmy the Gen. I like to come in and make sure I'm taken care of, and it's good being all pissed around.
It's true. It's one of the few times in your life where you can feel really powerful. That's why I don't mind us over tipping that diner, because then we're the celebrities of the diner. Everyone knows this.
We've gone way overboard.
Yeah, but for a couple extra bucks, Fez, you make the guy's day. Because when you're working tables, don't you think to yourself per hour what I'm getting? Oh, I just made my hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of waiters get I know I got $2.50 an hour.
Right.
So it is tips. That's it.
You got to get those tips, Fuzzy.
I understand that, but there's no reason to go insane with it, like we've been doing.
All right. Do you remember the place we were at yesterday?
Right.
We had a table full of Canadians on one side, and then there was a mixed white girl Canadian couple at the end. So that woman that was waiting on us, who was really nice, who fucking freaked out when I didn't get the deluxe, who brought me a spoon when she saw I was using my straw to steal some of his ice cream, that was a great server. She was there for us. So we hit her with an extra 50, make her feel good about herself.
It's where the tip is becoming as big or bigger than the check.
That's good. Let's keep it going.
That excites them.
I don't see Sunday Boy being part of that, though.
It's the only time where I can feel good about myself.
Do you know?
Feel good about me and Ronnie. We're the ones putting it in.
Now it's gotten too far where it's screaming. Why don't we do this? I'm going to call ahead to the diner. When Dave comes in, I want them playing Sunday, Chocolate Sunday. So that's his theme song. Let me just point this out. You look like an infant the way you order.
The sundae was obscene, too. That was so gigantic.
I enjoyed it.
It was. I just thought she was going to give me a little tiny dish, and she went the whole Willy Wonka over-the-top sundae.
If you weren't covered in chocolate by the end of it, you infant.
Here's Greg. Greg, you're on the fizz.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Also, Canadians can refer to the Jews also.
So I had no idea right now that the thing that you can get away with when someone's being cheap is they got a Canadian over here, table 7.
For some reason, to call him Canadian is much more politically correct than to actually say black or Jewish.
Here is Rocco. Rocco, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys. I used to work in restaurants and hotels, and the last hotel I worked at was in the Soho House. And I got to tell you, the Brits are the worst. You do everything for them. They have you run around. You can kiss their ass, and you'll be lucky if they say thank you.
Now, is it because they don't know about tipping?
I don't know, man. These guys have a ton of money staying at the Soho House, and they're constantly coming over to the States. And I think if you're going to come over here more than once or twice, you got to learn that gratuity is part of the deal.
But this,
you know,
maybe it should be pointed out to them, like on the hotel. You know how they show those things of, hey, here's where the pool is and all that. There's a little video about, hey, here's how a gentleman acts in the United States of America.
That's really funny. That's really funny that you would mention that, Mr. B, because I used to go out with an English girl, 6 or 7 years ago, and when she got off the plane, they would give her bags. It was just an exchange thing, and they would say, give her a pamphlet. This is how Americans are. You're supposed to tip 15% because England don't tip.
Would she get that from Americans, or would she get that from the Brits?
From the Americans,
where she's turning in her money to get American money?
Yeah, something like that. Like something with the program. But as soon as she got here, they had a pamphlet. They also said in the pamphlet, it's terrible to smoke because Americans don't smoke.
Oh, they smoke while they eat over there, right?
Yeah, they're bad, but I mean, it's kind of funny.
I like the idea of that. All right, so there you have it, Fezzy. We have to make up for the Canadians. Then why don't we do this? When we go to Canada, we won't tip. As a little way, getting even a little bit.
I'm sure if we went to Canada and didn't tip, they would complain. That it's not like, oh, look at these Americans enjoying our customs.
Maybe when you go to Canada, at the bottom of the check, it says, remember you have to, gratuity is 3 to 5%.
No more.
Here's Bill. Bill, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How you doing, pal?
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I had relatives from Canada, and they were the worst fucking tippers ever. And my grandfather used to get in horrible arguments with them, like, about leaving a tip.
He wouldn't do it? Or he was the American? Yeah, I would be so embarrassed to have to point out to somebody. Well, I had to do it the other day at our place without Dukes, because he picked up our food on an expense account that he was rolling for himself. But then I saw how cheap his tip was. He threw like 4 down there.
Yeah, he was
for
way
3
under.
people.
So you went back and
yeah. But no, I just looked down and saw what he'd done, and why I didn't point it out is why I'm talking to him. I grabbed my wallet and I threw some cash on there like a gentleman, because that's our joint too. It's not like I'm never going back there.
Did he see you do that?
Yeah, and then I tried not to get him to say it, but he turned around and goes, oh, didn't I tip enough? And I go, no, you're not. You're fine. I just always do a little something different. He goes, no, I didn't, did I? I tried not to embarrass him, but the fucking truth is, he's a cheap son of a bitch. There's nothing anyone can do about it. He's cheap as hell.
Especially when that's on his expense account.
He's the man who went to a wedding and gave his own cousin $35 for a wedding.
He's lucky that he was going out to lunch with you guys at a diner. He can't pick up the tip at a diner for crying out loud.
I know. Really, we didn't have more than sandwiches, but he's tipping like he's got alligator arms. He can't reach his fucking wallet the way he's tipping. Here's KJ. KJ, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to remind Dave with these big tips that usually the waitresses have to pool all that money and then they share it with the chefs in the back so that they can buy cologne and so forth to pick up those lonely girls in the evening.
I knew they were up to something. Thanks for the heads up.
I don't like places that pull the tips. I know some of the casinos do that.
Total bullshit.
I find that offensive because a good person should be taken care of, bad persons shouldn't be taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm doing all right at a table, I want to tip that dealer, because I consider them all part of the process, part of the luck.
I was a waiter extraordinaire, and I would think about $120, $150 some nights, weekday nights, because of the other people that I served with, incompetence. $80.
Here's the fucking thing that was put on me by the shitty tippers thing. I saw this last year. Someone did this as a fucking gag, because we go to this Hooters all the time. And first of all, it would have to something when I went to the bathroom to powder my nose. And then I said I was staring at the waitress's check saying, "You look like $1 million." This is fucking wrong that these websites lie. And I wouldn't mind any of it except for the $5 tip.
That's that damn internet. Anyone can be anyone else on that web.
I love that. I saw that before, too.
Why don't you fucking have it deleted? Call them. You're the producer of the show.
It's funny.
You dim bastard. Look at you. Okay. You should be on top of these fucking things. You're as dumb as a bag of red hair. That's what the fuck. You know what I want to do? You work with Fez for a week. I'm going to have a fucking bag of red hair, and I guarantee you, mine will do at least as good as his for the week.
You're on.
Where are you going to get the bag of red hair?
I'm going to fucking shave down a goddamn Irish sailor on the street. I'll throw him a goddamn pint. Get me off that fucked up website, Dave. That's your thing right now.
Okay.
I want me off every fucked up website out there. And it's a lie. We go to that Hooters all the time. We got the special card.
And they get tipped very well.
Oh, no wonder. They give us 50% off. 50% off every time we go around on Sundays to eat. We're eating in New York Hooters at fucking Iowa prices.
So 50% off, what would the tip be? Over 20?
No, 50%. What I do is normally what the bill is. Yeah. I throw them the bill, then take the tip off there, and you take care of them. In the meantime, they always have our game on for us. They got a special table, and if there's a celebrity, they always bring them by to meet us.
Okay.
Like Mr. Nick Cage.
No.
Yeah.
Hooters?
Yeah.
Why was he at Hooters?
To fucking eat some food.
Nick Cage and Hooters? It just seems a little.
When he was shot last year, when he was shooting the World Trade
Center.
Yeah.
It just seems he would be at like a French restaurant or something.
Why? You think at all times, just because you're making money, you've got to be eating like that? You're saying to yourself, Donald Trump never thinks to himself, I like a salami sandwich.
I remember that one time you guys went there, you told you guys boxed out Adam Sandler out of the table.
Yeah, well,
took his table.
He has Hooters in his movie, I'm sure.
But Adam Sandler makes as much money as Nick Cage.
Yeah, but he was probably doing it as a character study for that movie.
Eating or watching the game on TV.
But it was probably right before Big Daddy came out, and he was doing research.
No, it was after Big Daddy. He was down in a bowl of curly fries. Where do you get this thing that Nick Cage only eats pheasant and caviar?
It just doesn't seem reasonable.
I'm fucking starving. Earl, do we got any pheasant and caviar?
Oh, we just ran out of caviar.
Damn it.
We don't have one fish egg here.
Damn it. So you think that these people, because they make money, suddenly they become British aristocrats?
Yeah, you're not going to...
Where's Bronx Johnny going? I see him saying goodbye to everybody. Where's he off?
He's off to the stadium. He works tonight at the house that Ruth built.
I thought he was starting the immigration protest early.
Why can't we just call it Yankee Stadium?
Like the world does.
Why can't? Why's it going to be House of Ruth? You taking off, buddy?
Yeah, I got work.
Who you got tonight?
We got,
Red Sox. Devil Rays again?
Orioles. Blue Jays.
You're working security, right?
Yeah.
Where are you working security?
Suite 25, family suite.
Family suite, so you're doing that all the time now?
Yeah, officially.
So if A-Rod's family show up, you're the one making sure they're not bothered, everything's okay?
Yeah, you got to go through a door to get to them, and you got to go through that door to get to me. So.
Ain't going to happen.
Ain't happening.
Yeah, it ain't going to happen.
I'm going to the game on Sunday. Maybe I'm going to run into Johnny, and then
what are you going to do?
Maybe I get to meet A-Rod's wife. You know what I'm talking about?
No. I think that, first of all, A, why would you be so excited to act like I met A-Rod's wife? And two, why don't you stay up in your goddamn cheap seats where you normally are? Why don't you sit up there with the fucking boys club and the blind kids where they throw those free goddamn seats and enjoy hearing the game from there?
Next to the Navy.
Yeah. Do me a favor. You can go up and check in if you bring Roberto to entertain the kids where the dads are back.
This is Giambi. This is my puppet.
I can never play. I'm small. Very small. What's the difference between me and Jason Giambi? I'm small puppet. It's the same joke, Mr. Where is Roberto?
He's here. What do you need?
I don't see him.
All right, here's one of these cheap bastards, Darren. Darren, you're on the face.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
I'm from Canada. I just wanted to say that, I tip very well myself. 25%.
Why do you got the reputation that you don't tip?
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking maybe it's not that we're bad tippers. It's just you guys have really fucking bad service.
So you think that the servers are bad everywhere in the United States? That you picked up the nickname of no matter who's cheap, I've got a Canadian. So much that we have to say about black people. There's a Canadian at my table.
Oh yeah, that's right. Either that or anybody who has money actually goes somewhere good. They don't go to the States for holidays.
All right, so now it's an anti-U.S. thing, right, with you?
Yeah.
All right, I got you.
So tipping is customary in Canada. It's not like there's some sort of custom of you don't tip.
No, we tip. Everybody I know tips really well. Tips like 20-25% all the time.
All right, everybody up there tips 20-25%, but for some reason in the States they got a different reputation. Dave, I know you should stay quiet there. Did you agree with him? Did you not agree? He says 25% they tip.
No. Very wrong about that.
Here's Jim. Jim, you're on Run Fez.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah.
I got a question for Dave. I'm from Canada, and the servers up at home, make minimum wage, which is usually like $6-7 an hour, depending on what province you're from. What's minimum wage where you used to work? Like you said, $2.50?
Yeah, in fact, it was actually $2.33. I misspoke.
Because the servers in the United States make less than minimum wage.
Yes. If we don't make minimum wage as a server, we would make $2.33 at the place that I worked at Bar and Grill, Irish Bar and Grill.
That's crazy. I worked at a hotel in a resort in National Park in Alberta, and I wasn't a server, but the guys there were making $12-15 an hour, and they were bringing home like $200 a night tips.
So what he's saying is maybe the Canadians think it's the same situation where they don't have to tip as big because the place is taking care of the servers.
Well, that's a great point.
That might be it, and most of the time when Canadians are in the States, they're on holidays, so maybe they're working off a budget. I'm not making excuses for these guys because I know a lot of them are cheap bastards.
Right.
No, it makes sense. What all Canadians should do is watch that opening scene of Reservoir Dogs, and ironically, that speech is really true when they're like, these girls count on their tips for their livelihood.
Right.
That speech is true.
Did you feel like you were a girl, and were you crying a little bit watching that waitress scene?
I kind of was distracted by the Madonna part of that scene where they were talking about like a virgin.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's, Earl, do you know if we have that scene, if we could get it up and play it? It's where, in the beginning of Reservoir Dogs, and in that moment, we all said to ourselves, there's a new genius filmmaker around here. There's a guy who writes the way the rest of us talk when we sit down at a table. His name? Quentin Tarantino. The film, Reservoir Dogs. I'm trying to stall while Earl looks for it. Earl, do we have it?
No, we don't have the actual clip.
Miramax Made came out in 1992. We've got a clip for you coming up with the Reservoir Dogs. Let's enjoy. You got it, Earl?
No, they're not actual movie quotes. You got the music from the movie, but no actual.
You think we'll be able to get that from hearing the music? That'll make us feel like we get it?
Earl, I could have sworn we used to have that.
There's the music, but...
Yeah, but the music doesn't help. It doesn't make the point, does it?
No.
That's like if I said to you, oh, Fez is having some heart problems, and you said to me, here's a pen.
Don't draw on my heart.
What doesn't go together? All right, now, I do like that last caller. He did come up with a point. If the servers get paid differently in Canada They should be taken care of. And when you really think about it, why isn't it like that in the United States?
It really makes no sense, and I don't see how it's even legal that that people can still be paid $2.33 an hour.
Yeah, that you could pay a worker something less than minimum wage.
White people,
well, because you know they're getting tips. But the point is, and we have that as part of our, and a lot of these small diners or whatever couldn't stay open if they had to go bigger.
Which way would you prefer as a former waiter, Dave? Where you got the hourly fee, or the way that you actually did work, the small hourly fee and the tips?
Hourly fee and smaller tips, because people sometimes, if you gave good service, would still go above and beyond the call of duty.
First of all, you're selling entrees out of your pocket, you fucking prick. You're running a goddamn contract on half the tables out there. He's selling 2 entrees and writing up 1. Don't act like I don't know what you were up to. You never did that kind of shit before?
A couple times.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's the way to get through on it. All right, Earl, you do have it?
Yeah, we were able to track it down.
I knew we had it.
By way, who tracked it down?
Well, I tracked it down.
Thank you. So stop acting like you have a team. It's just you. You're alone.